He stood up slowly, dazed, his broken glasses in front of his eyes, covered in ash. He was alone and had no idea where he was. All he knew was that he was standing inside a stone fireplace in what appeared to be a large, dimly lit wizarding shop. But none of the items in the shop resembled the items on the Hogwarts school list. In the nearest window, a withered hand lay on a cushion. There was also a deck of bloody cards and a staring glass eye. Evil faces stared at him insidiously from the walls. There was a complete human skeleton on the counter, and old, nailed-on furniture hung from the ceiling. Worst of all, the dark, narrow street he could see through the dusty glass of the shop was definitely not Nocturne Alley. The sooner he got out of there the better. His nose was still stinging from the impact with the stove. He walked slowly and quietly towards the door, but he was halfway there when two people appeared behind the glass door of the shop. One of them was someone Harry didn't want to see at all, with broken glasses and a dirty face. He was facing him in the ash. It was none other than Draco Malfoy. Harry immediately looked around and saw a large wardrobe to his left. He saw black. He went inside, but not quite opened the door so that he could look out through the narrow crack. A few moments later the bell rang and Malfoy entered the shop. The man with him could not have been anyone but his father. He had the same pointed, pale face and the same lifeless gray eyes. Mr. Malfoy entered the shop and looked at the objects in the windows with a calm expression. Then he rang the bell on the counter and turned to his son and said, "Draco, don't touch anything." Malfoy, who had approached the glass eye, said, "Tell me, I thought you were going to buy me a gift." His father, tapping his finger on the counter, said, "I said maybe I could buy you a racing broom." Malfoy said with a sullen and ill-tempered face, "What's the point? I'm not on the school team." Last year, Harry Potter was given a Nimbus 2000. Dumbledore made an exception and allowed him to play for the Gryffindor team. His game isn't that great. It's all because he's famous. Just two. The stupid scar on his forehead. Malfoy leaned over to look at a shelf full of skulls and continued. Everyone thinks he's so smart and intelligent. Amazing Potter with scars and his flying broom. Mr. Malfoy looked reproachfully at his son and said, "You've said this at least a dozen times by now. Remember, it's not wise to show less interest and attention to Harry Potter than others, just because most of our fellow humans respect him and look up to Harry Potter as a hero who made the Dark Lord disappear." "Bye, Mr. Borgin." A hunched man appeared behind the counter, running his hand through his oiled hair. He stroked his forehead and said in a flattering manner, "Hello, Mr. Malfoy, how blessed I am to have received your visit. You have made us proud, and what can I do for you, Agazada, who has come? Let me show you the items we brought today, and their prices are very reasonable." Mr. Malfoy said, "Mr. Borgin, I didn't come here today to buy. I'm going to sell." Mr. Borgin's smile faded from his lips and he said, "Sale?" Mr. Malfoy took a roll of parchment from his side pocket and opened it so that Mr. Borgin could read it. He said, "You must have heard that the Ministry of Interior's inspections have become much more frequent than before. I have some junk in my house that would be embarrassing if it fell into the hands of the Ministry's agents." Mr. Borgin put on his spectacles and glanced at the list. Said, "I don't think the Ministry would dare do such a thing." Mr. Malfoy pursed his lips in disgust and said, "I haven't heard of it yet." The Malfoy name still has a certain value and respect, but you know that the Ministry agents are getting noisier by the day. There's a lot of talk about the new Muggle Protection Act these days. I have no doubt that stupid Arthur Weasley, who loves and kills Muggleborns, is behind this. Harry's blood boiled. Mr. Malfoy continued, "You know better than anyone that these bastards cause." Mr. Borgin said, "I understand what you mean, sir. Let me see." Draco pointed to the withered hand on the cushion and paused between Borgin's words. Jumped and said, "Can I see him?" Mr. Borgin dropped Mr. Malfoy's list and hurried over to Draco. and said, "It's called the Hand of Pride. Whoever puts a candle in this hand will only show its light to that person. It's a boon to thieves and bandits, sir. Your son has very good taste." "Kill," Mr. Malfoy said coldly. "Mr. Bergen, I hope my son doesn't end up a thief or a bandit." Mr. Bergen immediately said, "Sir, I didn't mean to offend in any way." Mr. Malfoy said in a colder tone. "Although, if his school grades don't improve, it's not unlikely that he'll end up working there too." Draco said aggressively. "What is my fault? All professors have a light in their eyes, like that Hermione Granger." Mr. Malfoy said angrily. "Aren't you ashamed? A girl with no magical lineage at all. His lessons are ahead of yours." Harry laughed inwardly, delighted to see Draco's angry and embarrassed face. "Had come," Mr. Bergen said in the same flattering tone. "No one values magical authenticity anymore." "It's not," Mr. Malfoy said, his nostrils quivering. "I don't agree with this way of thinking at all." Mr. Bergen bowed high and said, "Sir, I don't agree at all." Mr. Malfoy ended the discussion by saying, "So in that case, let's get to my list, Borgin, I'm in a hurry. I have something else important to do today." Then they began to haggle. Harry watched Draco anxiously as he edged closer and closer to his hiding place, examining the items in the display case one by one. He paused for a moment to look up the long rope hanger, and with a grin he read the card that marked a precious jeweled necklace. The card read, "Do not touch. Cursed." This necklace had claimed the lives of 19 Muggle owners so far. Draco turned and his eyes fell on the commode that was right in front of him. He stepped forward, he reached out to grab the handle. But at that moment, Mr. Malfoy said from behind the counter, "It's over. Draco, let's go." When Draco left, Harry wiped his forehead with his sleeve. "Mr. Malfoy," said Mr. Bergen, "I am waiting for you tomorrow at my palace to come and take the goods. Goodbye." As soon as the door closed behind them, Mr. Bergen's flattering expression changed and he said, "God bless you, Mr. Malfoy. If the rumors are true, you still haven't sold me half of the things you've hidden in your castle." Mr. Bergen, muttering something with a contorted face, disappeared into the back room. Harry waited a minute in case he returned, then slowly emerged from the closet. He walked past the windows and left the store. He held his broken glasses in front of him and looked around. He had stepped into a gloomy, dirty alley, where there were no shops except those dealing in black magic. Bergen and Burke's, which he had just passed, seemed to be the largest shop on the street. Behind the glass of a shop on the other side of the street, wrinkled heads were visible. 2. In the shop below he saw a large cage containing huge black spiders. 2 ragged wizards were watching him from under the awning of a shop, whispering to each other. Harry, who was nervous and trying to keep his glasses straight. He wished he could get off that street as soon as possible. A faded wooden sign above a shop that sold toxic candles. It showed that it was Nocturne Alley. But the sign didn't help him because he hadn't heard the name before. He thought to himself that he must have been unable to say his destination clearly in the Weasley fireplace with the ashes in his throat. He tried to keep his composure and see what he could do. At that moment he jumped because someone said in his ear, "Honey, are you lost?" The old witch stood in front of him, holding a large tray that appeared to be full of real human nails. She glared at Harry, showing her yellow teeth. Harry stepped back and said, "No, thank you. Harry, what are you doing in this mess?" Harry's heart sank in his chest, and the witch was stunned. Some of the nails spilled out of the tray and onto his leg as the giant's body wept.